Thank you for inviting the UNFF Secretariat to participate in this thematic session on promoting effective public participation in international decision-making relevant for deforestation, forest degradation, and the environmental impacts of agriculture and land use change. My presentation will include a brief background on the UN Forum on Forests, UNFF, and how the forum addresses access to information and public participation, including stakeholder engagement, through its procedures, policies, and practical arrangements. The UNFF was established by the UN Economic and Social Council as one of its subsidiary bodies in the year 2000. The forum has universal all-state membership and is composed of all member states of the United Nations and specialized agencies. Its core mandate is to promote sustainable forest management and to strengthen political commitment to that end. The forum is guided by the UN Strategic Plan for Forests 2017-2030. Two key milestones I want to touch on. In the year 2007, the Forum adopted the UN Forest Instrument that for the first time provided countries and international cooperation organizations with a cohesive, comprehensive, and integrated global framework for promoting actions aimed at achieving sustainable forest management globally. The Forest Instrument aims to strengthen political commitment and actions at all levels to effectively implement sustainable forest management of all types of forests and to achieve the shared global objectives on forests. It was also aimed at enhancing the contributions of forests to the achievement of the internationally agreed development goals, particularly on poverty eradication and on environmental sustainability. And it provided a framework for national action and international cooperation. One other key milestone took place in the year 2015 when the UNFF adopted the first ever UN Strategic Plan for Forests. The strategic plan builds on the 2030 Agenda and has at its core the shared United Nations vision of a world in which all types of forests and trees outside forests are sustainably managed, contribute to sustainable development, and provide economic, social, environmental, and cultural benefits for present and future generations. To achieve this vision, the strategic plan states that our mission is to promote the sustainable forest management and contributions of forests and trees outside forests to the 2030 Agenda, and by strengthening cooperation and political commitment and action at all levels. The strategic plan provides the reference guide on all forest-related work across the UN system and amongst partners. It states that effective implementation of sustainable forest management depends on the contributions of all relevant stakeholders, including forest owners, indigenous peoples, local communities and local authorities, the private sector, NGOs, women, children, the youth, scientific, academic, and philanthropic organizations at all levels. The plan is aimed at building on the momentum provided by the 2015 global milestones, including the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, the Addis Ababa Action Agenda on Financing Sustainable Development, and the Paris Agreement on Climate Change. The plan includes 6 global forest goals and 26 associated targets, including groundbreaking targets to increase forest area globally by 3% or 120 million hectares, and to eradicate extreme poverty for all forest-dependent people by the year 2030. Global forest goals and targets are also cover combating climate change, increasing forest protected areas, mobilizing financing and inspiring innovation, promoting governance, enhancing cooperation across sectors and stakeholders. Realizing the shared vision and mission and achieving the global forest goals and targets will also depend entirely on the voluntary actions by countries, partners, and stakeholders at all levels. So enshrined in the plan is a concept of voluntary national contributions, or VNCs, as a framework for countries to communicate their individual commitments to the global forest goals and targets, taking into account national circumstances and capacities. The UNFF carries out its core functions on the basis of the strategic plan. The forum's quadrennial program of work, or 4POW, guides the forum's implementation of the strategic plan by setting the agenda for each forum session within the quadrennium. The 4POW also identifies thematic and operational priorities, priority actions, and resource needs. It reflects the linkages between the odd and the even year sessions, and as a general rule, odd year sessions focus on discussions, on implementation, technical advice, exchange of experiences amongst member states, members of the Collaborative Partnership on Forests, regional and sub-regional organizations, and major groups and other relevant stakeholders. And it also has a science policy interface. The output of our odd year session is a chair's summary report, which includes possible proposals, which are then reported to the forum at the next even year session. Even year sessions focus on policy dialogue, development, and decision making, taking into account discussions and proposals from the previous odd year session. The output of an even year session is a concise forum resolution or decision on the next steps. Odd and even year sessions for a given biennium are thematically linked, and the thematic and operational priorities, priority actions, and resource needs for each biennium are identified on the basis of the global forest goals and targets that are contained in the strategic plan. This year, for instance, the 20th session, UNFF 20, was a technical year. It fell on the odd year, and the chair summary from this year's session will be then forwarded to next year's policy session for consideration and possible decision. The high-level political forum for sustainable development is an opportunity for the forum to highlight the multifaceted contributions of forests to the implementation of the 2030 agenda. The forum, UNFF, provides inputs to the HLPF session through its bureau, and the bureau chair and its bureau members, and the forum decisions. While the commitment of member states are essential to the achievement of the global forest goals and targets and the 2030 agenda, the actions and contributions of all partners is also crucial. So in the UNFF context, the partners include UN bodies with forest-related mandates such as UNEP, UNDP, FAO, and the secretariats of the conventions such as the CBD, UNCCD, and UNFCCC. The Collaborative Partnership on Forests and its member organizations is another partner, and the CPF is an innovative voluntary interagency partnership on forests composed of 16 UN and non-UN organizations that was established in April 2001, right after the establishment of the UNFF. Regional and sub-regional organizations also form another grouping of partners, and then major groups and non-governmental stakeholders are another grouping of partners. Now, from its inception, the forum has been very participatory in its outlook. Forum resolutions recognize the vital role that forest-related stakeholders play in the implementation of sustainable forest management. The forum welcomes and encourages the active participation of forest-related stakeholders who, within the context of the forum, are referred to as major groups, as identified in Chapter 23 of Agenda 21. These major groups are business and industry, children and youth, farmers and small forest landowners, indigenous people, NGOs, local authorities, the scientific and technical community, women, and workers and trade unions. Altogether, there are 9 major groups. Because of the participation of a wide range of forest-related stakeholders is considered a key component of sustainable forest management, the UNFF process allows for policy dialogue amongst governments and major groups as identified in Agenda 21. And in the past, the forum has ensured the opportunity to receive and consider inputs from major groups through the organization of a multi-stakeholder dialogue during the forum sessions. Major groups are also welcome, or major group representatives are also welcome to provide input or comment on agenda items as the forum discusses them. They also contribute through major group-led initiatives in support of a forum that are normally intersessional activities that happen in between formal or official formal sessions. Prior to the adoption of the UN Strategic Plan for Forests, the forum welcomed major groups' efforts to contribute to the development and implementation of the UN Strategic Plan and the Quadrennial Program of Work. During the recently concluded midterm review of the International Arrangement on Forests that took place last year during the 19th session of the forum, major groups were also invited to share their views on the effectiveness of the International Arrangement on Forests and to also contribute to the development of the Quadrennial Program of Work for the period 2025 to 2028. At UNFF 19, the forum also welcomed the establishment of the UNFF Major Groups Internal Coordination Mechanism, which coordinates the UNFF Major Groups' contributions to the work of a forum, implementation of a strategic plan, and interaction and participation in the forum during forum sessions. The forum further invited major groups to develop a joint strategy on their contributions to implementation of a strategic plan and to update their work plans in support of both forum policy dialogue and implementation of a plan, and to communicate their contributions to the strategic plan and their constituents to the forum during annual sessions. With regards to public stakeholder involvement in document preparation and access to information, as an ECOSOC functional commission, the UNFF operates under the ECOSOC rules of procedure of functional commissions. The forum ensures the opportunity to receive and consider input from major groups and aims for effective accessibility of all UNFF information. Major group organizations that have consultative status with ECOSOC or had previously received consultative status through the Commission on Sustainable Development, ROSTA, are welcomed to and encouraged to participate in the forum's annual sessions. Registration to UNFF sessions is through the Indigo portal, and major group representatives are provided with temporary grounds passes that allow them access to the meeting rooms. The UNFF aims for broad participation in the preparation and formulation of its decisions. This implies opportunities for input into substantive preparations of meeting documents, events, and decisions by major groups. Most recently, major groups, as I mentioned, have been invited to contribute or provide their inputs to the midterm review and to issues under consideration by the forum, including, as I mentioned, the midterm review on the effectiveness of the international arrangement on forests. With regard to access to documents and other information, all information is provided proactively and in a meaningful, accessible form to increase knowledge and understanding. UNFF background information, including on intersessional activities, capacity building, monitoring, assessment, and reporting on progress on implementation of a strategic plan and global forest goals, and on forest financing are accessible in electronic format on the UNFF website. All official UNFF reports and decisions are also available in the UNFF website in all UN official languages. With regards to modalities of participation for major groups, I should mention that consultative status with ECOSOC is the only way a non-governmental stakeholder organization can obtain a formalized relationship with the UNFF. This formal relationship between NGOs and with ECOSOC and its subsidiary bodies is referred to as a consultative status, and it is not the same as participation and does not per se include the right to participate in debates and deliberations of the forum. Major groups and NGOs with consultative status are invited with varying degrees to participate in formal discussions, panel discussions, roundtables, and UNFF events held during formal UNFF sessions. Under the rules of procedures, NGOs can attend open, informal meetings of the forum unless the forum decides otherwise. Forum sessions are also webcasted on the on the UN website, to reach a broader public, and sound recordings are made available in all 6 official languages upon request. Also, the daily journal of the UN contains up-to-date information on meetings, including links to documents and procedural summaries. And as I mentioned at the very beginning, the UNFF sessions are held at UN headquarters. There are access requirements for all visitors and people participating at UN headquarters. UN's ground pass is required, or a badge or a special day pass, or in some cases, escort by UN officials. For visiting government representatives, they're registered online with protocol and liaison services at the request of their permanent missions. And for major groups and other stakeholders, if they have consultative status, they have annual passes, grounds passes, or if they have registered through Indigo and are requesting for access for the duration of a meeting, they normally are issued special guest passes, and this is normally done by the Department of Safety and Security at UN headquarters. I thank you very much for your kind attention.